I swear I didn't mean for any of it to happen. It was supposed to be just another quiet evening. She trembled, her eyes locked on the officer's notepad. Outside, rain hammered the window like it wanted to wash away her guilt. Inside, the truth was clawing its way out, messy, confusing, and nothing like the story she had rehearsed in her head. And when she finally whispered what the dog had done, the entire room froze. You think you've heard every kind of betrayal, but you haven't heard this one. Watch till the very end, because what she confesses next will change everything you thought you knew about loyalty. My name is Rachel Carter, and tonight I'm sitting in a police station with trembling hands, trying to explain how my husband ended up at the bottom of a river. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. We had a home that looked perfect from the outside, 2 stories, white fence, flower boxes. People used to call us the ideal couple, but they never heard the silence that lived inside those walls. Evan and I had been married for 8 years. In the beginning, he made me feel like the luckiest woman alive. But somewhere between the business trips, the locked phone, and the distant stares, something shifted. Love became duty. Conversations became noise. The only living being that seemed to still notice me was Max, our golden retriever, gentle, loyal, always watching. Sometimes I'd whisper things into his fur that I couldn't tell anyone else. I'd tell him about the perfume that wasn't mine, the nights Evan didn't come home, the messages I pretended not to see. And Max would just rest his head on my knee, as if saying, I know. The night everything happened, the storm outside was so loud it felt like the sky itself was warning me. Evan had texted hours earlier, don't wait up. No, I love you. No reason. Just cold words on a glowing screen. But something in my chest refused to believe him anymore. So I grabbed my raincoat, took Max's leash, and stepped out into the storm. When I reached the old Riverside warehouse, I saw his car. Parked. Hidden. And through the window, the shadow of another woman. They were laughing. And something inside me shattered so quietly it scared me. Max began to growl low, sensing everything before I even moved. I should have walked away. I should have gone home. But heartbreak makes you reckless. I stepped out of the dark, rain pouring down my face, and knocked on the window. Evan's face turned pale. He opened the door slowly, like a child caught stealing. The woman looked at me once, then ran into the rain. Rachel, he said. You shouldn't have come here. That sentence broke me more than his affair ever could. I wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to betray me, and yet here we were. Max barked, sharp and protective, but Evan snapped, shut that dog up. He reached forward, trying to grab Max's collar, and in that moment, everything went wrong. Max pulled back, jerking the leash from my hand. Evan slipped, stumbled backward toward the edge of the dock, the wet wood gleaming under the lightning. Evan! I screamed, reaching out. But my fingers only caught air. He fell, the splash swallowed by thunder. I stood frozen. Max whined, pacing, his eyes fixed on the black water. For a moment, I thought he'd surface. That this was just another argument that would end in silence. But he didn't. The water stayed still. When I finally called the police, I could barely speak. They asked what happened. And I told them the truth, at least, the version my mind could bear to say aloud. He was too strong, I whispered. I couldn't break free. They thought I meant physically. They didn't understand that I meant emotionally. I couldn't break free from him, from the cycle of hurt, forgiveness, and lies. The officers searched for hours. By dawn, they found nothing but his wallet and his wedding ring caught between 2 stones. They called it an accident. But guilt doesn't listen to logic. In the days that followed, the whispers started. The neighbors said I'd snapped. That maybe I'd pushed him. That the perfect wife had finally broken. And maybe, in a way, I had. But not in the way they thought. You see, it wasn't anger that destroyed me, it was silence. Years of swallowing pain until it became a second heartbeat. I stayed inside for weeks, barely speaking, barely eating. Max never left my side. Every time thunder rolled, he'd curl up next to me, pressing his body against my shaking hands. One evening, as I sat in the living room, I noticed something under the couch, Evan's old flash drive. I plugged it in. There were messages, photos, videos. Not just one woman. Dozens. He had been living a double life, documenting it all like a trophy cabinet. My breath left my body. Not because I was shocked, but because I realized how much of my soul I'd wasted trying to save a man who had already left me years ago. That night, I took Max for a walk by the river again. The rain had stopped. The air was cold and clean. I stood by the same spot where Evan had fallen and whispered into the dark. I forgive you. Not for you, but for me. Max nudged my hand, almost as if to say it's over now. In that moment, I understood what loyalty really means. It's not about staying, even when it hurts. It's about protecting what's pure inside you, even when the world calls it weakness. Weeks later, the detective came back. They'd found Evan's car keys downstream, and the case was officially closed. But before leaving, he said something I'll never forget. You know, Mrs. Carter, sometimes love doesn't end with hate. It ends with understanding. He looked down at Max, who sat quietly at my feet. That dog saved you, he added softly. And maybe he was right. Because if Max hadn't been there that night, I might have gone into the water myself. Months passed. The grass grew back along the riverbank. I sold the house, packed my things, and moved somewhere small, somewhere quiet. Some mornings I still wake up expecting to hear Evan's voice. But instead, I hear the birds, the wind, and Max's gentle breathing. And that's enough. I started journaling again, writing down everything I learned from loving the wrong person the right way. That loyalty doesn't mean endurance. That letting go isn't weakness. That sometimes, the most painful endings are also the most merciful. They asked me once what the dog did that night. I tell them the truth. He stopped me from drowning, not in water, but in grief. And now, when the rain comes, I let it fall. Because it doesn't feel like punishment anymore. It feels like cleansing. Max lies beside me, older now, calmer, wiser than most humans I know. When I look into his eyes, I see everything I once was: scared, loyal, lost, and everything I've become: free. Broken heart sometimes. Betrayal doesn't destroy you, it frees you. If you made it this far, thank you for staying till the end. Speech balloon, tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you were in Rachel's place? Red Heart, don't forget to subscribe to @Woman Stories 8 for more true emotional stories that touch the soul. Bell, and remember, love is not proven by how long you stay, but by how bravely you let go.